Have you ever been sidelined on one of the most important days of your life, only to watch those you hold dear turn away, consumed by someone else's troubles? That's what I went through. But this story doesn't end in heartbreak. It's a journey, a realization that true support sometimes comes from the most unexpected places. Join me as I recount a day that shifted my perspective forever, a day that took me from quiet disappointment to profound enlightenment about my own worth. And so, the story begins. I am Ethan Carter, 22 years old, a recent graduate in engineering from State University. What I am about to share is not just an ordinary family story. It is the moment I finally understood what true support really means, and it came from a direction I never could have imagined. To give you some context about my family, I have an older sister, Sophia Carter, 25 years old. She has always been the golden child of our parents. While I worked, took out student loans, and had to juggle part-time jobs to complete my engineering degree, she enjoyed life at a private music school. Even though she never graduated, Sophia joined a student band in her second year. I still remember how excited our parents, Thomas and Linda Carter, were when they shared the news of her pursuing her passion. But anyone who had heard her sing could tell she was average at best. The other members of the band were genuinely talented, and I could never understand why they kept her around. Then came the decision that changed everything. About 7 months before she was supposed to graduate, Sophia announced that she was dropping out to pursue music full-time. Instead of advising her otherwise, my parents supported her. I watched in disbelief as they cheered her on to abandon a degree she had almost completed, all for what they called her true passion. What happened next was heartbreaking but not unexpected. Within just 5 months, her band found a better singer, someone who could write lyrics and actually stay on beat. Sophia came back home, defeated and directionless, attempting to form her own band, but no one wanted to join a dropout who had quit for an impulsive dream. Time passed, and now she's been living with our parents for months, with no job. Mom and Dad treat her as if she's recovering from some great tragedy, while all she's facing are the consequences of her own choices. Every time I visit, she's either lying around the house or out drinking with friends. The worst part is how comfortable they are with this. They continue to support her as though she's recovering from a traumatic experience. But what infuriated me the most was the favoritism. When I graduated high school, my parents made it clear that I had to pay for my own college education. I accepted it because I thought it was how they operated. I even thought they would do the same for Sophia. But no, I had to take out loans, work multiple jobs, and manage everything on my own. The disparity became painfully clear when Sophia came back home while I was struggling to balance school, work, and loans. She lived rent-free, food, housing, everything covered. Whenever I tried to bring up the obvious favoritism, they twisted my words, making me feel guilty for even mentioning it. It was a manipulative cycle that I found difficult to break free from. But little did I know, everything was about to change, and my graduation ceremony would be the breaking point that made everything fall into place. A week before my graduation, I was in my apartment near the university, reviewing the schedule for the ceremony, when I decided to call my parents. The ceremony was only a couple of hours away from our home, so it would have been easy for them to attend. I initiated a video call on WhatsApp, trying to keep my voice calm. The excuse came immediately. "Oh, sweetheart, your mother is really busy," she sighed, not even looking at the screen. Could sense something was off. My dad, twisting his collar, an obvious sign he was hiding something, was there too. I pressed on, and that's when the truth came out. "Ethan, dear." My mother used that soft, honeyed tone she always had when preparing to say something awful. "We're planning to throw a surprise party for Sophia that day. It would have been her graduation day. If things had turned out differently." I stared at the phone screen, unable to speak for a few seconds. "So, you're throwing a party for Sophia on my graduation day?" I asked, my voice trembling. "Sophia's been really down lately," my dad spoke up. "We thought it would cheer her up." "Why not reschedule?" I asked, already knowing the answer. "I mean, this is my graduation day." "Ethan, you have to understand," my mom pleaded. "Sophia really needs this right now. She's in a very fragile state." In that moment, something inside me snapped. All the years of frustration flooded out. Fragile? She chose to drop out. While I've worked my butt off, kept up high grades, and have a job offer, you're skipping my graduation to throw a pity party. You're selfish. My father's voice suddenly sharpened. It's just a ceremony. Sophia needs what? I interrupted. She needs to grow up. I paused, gathering myself. And you both need to realize what you're doing. You're not helping her by pampering her. And you certainly aren't helping our family by constantly pushing me aside to take care of her. My mother began to cry, a thing she often did when she had no argument left. We've always supported both of you equally, she said, her voice trembling. That's a lie, and you both know it, I replied, my voice surprisingly calm. But you know what? I'm not trying anymore. I don't want to compete for your attention. I'm done trying to make sense of your twisted logic. If you can't make it to my graduation, then don't show up for anything else either. I ended the call before they could respond, my hands shaking. Then I did what I should have done long ago. I called my grandparents, Edward and Martha Carter. That afternoon, I sat in my dimly lit apartment, still replaying the conversation from earlier with my parents. Grandma, Grandpa. I broke down the moment I heard their familiar, warm voices. On the phone. What's wrong, dear? Grandma Martha's voice was full of concern. I told them everything about the graduation ceremony, the party for Sophia, and how once again my parents had overlooked my achievements. All the pent-up emotions I had been holding in finally came pouring out, and I couldn't stop the tears. I'm sorry, I just thought at least they would come to this graduation. Don't apologize, Grandpa Edward interrupted, his tone gentle but firm. You have nothing to apologize for. We're the ones who owe you an apology. Why? I was confused. Because we unknowingly enabled this situation, Grandma explained. We've been sending money to your parents every month to support Sophia, thinking she was actively looking for work or trying to get back on her feet. But she hasn't done that. I know, I said softly. Every time I visit, she's just watching Netflix or hanging out with friends. She's never applied for a job. We were silent for a moment before Grandpa spoke again. Well, this ends now, he declared. We'll be at your graduation, and we're changing where we allocate our support. Why? I asked. Don't worry about that right now, Grandma interrupted. Focus on your graduation. We're proud of you, and we won't miss it for anything. I could hear in their voices that they had plans, but in that moment, knowing they would be there was all that mattered. Late that night, at my parents' house, I had no idea that my grandparents had driven straight to my parents' house that very evening. I didn't find out until my phone started vibrating at 1 a.m., a call from my dad. You ungrateful child, drama queen. My dad's voice exploded through the phone, startling me awake. What did I lie to them about? I sat up quickly, my mind still foggy. Don't pretend to be innocent with me, he yelled. Your grandparents stormed into our house like they owned the place, called us bloodsuckers, and Sophia a lazy cow. Is this how you solve problems? Running off to them? As my mind began to clear, the pieces started to fall into place. Wait, when did they come over? I asked. Forget about the act. My dad's voice dripped with sarcasm. They came over tonight, completely out of control, and now they're cutting off our support. No more monthly help. Are you happy now? The truth hit me like a wave. It was my grandparents who had been financially supporting Sophia all this time, not my parents. I didn't know they were sending money to you, I said honestly. Well, they're not anymore, thanks to you. And you know what? They'll be sending that money to you instead. That's what you want, isn't it? My stomach churned. Dad, I swear. I didn't. He cut me off. Fix this, Ethan. Call them and fix this. Sophia's not ready to work, you know that. We need that support. Not ready? I repeated, disbelief in my voice. Dad, she's been sitting at home for a year. She's healing. He snapped back. Not like you. She's been through real trauma. Those band members took advantage of her. I hung up. My hands were trembling, but this time, not out of fear. I immediately called my grandparents, needing to understand exactly what had happened. Did you really go to their house? I asked as soon as they picked up. We're here. Edward's voice was calm yet resolute. And it's time we do this, Ethan. We've been sending them $2,000 a month to help Sophia get back on her feet. They said she was looking for a job, going to therapy, taking online courses. But she hasn't been doing any of that. No, she hasn't. Martha interjected. And that's going to stop now. We've decided that money will go to someone who actually deserves it. Phew. My throat tightened. I don't need it. This isn't charity, Ethan. Edward cut me off. You've worked hard. You've proven. Your responsibility. You deserve this, whether it's to pay off your student loans faster or save for your future. The choice is yours. But we want to support the right person. I sat on the bed, overwhelmed with emotion. I don't know what to say. Will you take it? Martha's voice softened. Let us do this for you. I thought about it. I had a job after graduation, a plan to pay off my debt, but this support could help me build a solid foundation for my future. All right, I finally said, thank you so much. The next morning, when I woke up, my phone was flooded with messages. Dad, Mom, and Sophia had been texting and calling all night. Every message had the same content. I needed to resolve this situation because they needed the money more than I did. Sophia's message was especially dramatic. I'm not strong enough to work right now. I'm trying to heal and work towards a better future. Why are you being so selfish and materialistic? You don't understand what I've been through. I looked at all their messages, took a deep breath, and did what I should have done a long time ago. I blocked all their numbers. Update a few days later, thanks to everyone who gave me advice and support. I've blocked my family and I don't plan to apologize. Reading the comments and talking to friends has reaffirmed that I'm doing the right thing. I've never been one to get angry easily, always quick to forgive because I thought they were family or meant well. But there's a difference between holding a grudge and standing up for myself. That's the lesson I've finally learned. Family is supposed to stand by you. That's what we're taught to believe, right? I believed it for so many years, always going back after every argument, even though my complaints were valid. But now I see their love has conditions, and I no longer want to play by their rules. Graduation day arrived, and something unexpected happened. My parents showed up at my graduation ceremony. It was ironic. They couldn't be there when I needed them, but now that money was involved, they suddenly found the time. They didn't have tickets, and I had made it clear I would only talk to them after the ceremony. We met up at a nearby hotel for lunch. As usual, my grandparents insisted on being present. From the start, I had made it clear, I don't want any drama today. I'm in a good mood and I want to keep it that way. But of course, they couldn't hold back. They began apologizing for how they had treated me, saying that Sophia couldn't attend because she had a job interview. Apparently, their ultimatum had actually prompted her to start looking for work. We want a chance to make things right, my mother pleaded, tears starting to fall. We realize we've been terrible parents to both of you. Before they could say anything else, I cut them off. I appreciate your regret, but right now, it's hard for me to believe it. You only see the issue when you stop sending money? That's not okay. My mother tried again, her voice shaking. We're your parents. We always forgive your mistakes. Can't you do the same? I couldn't help but laugh. Are you seriously comparing the mistakes of my childhood to your conscious decisions now? That's ridiculous. Ethan, please, my dad tried to calm the situation. We know we've been wrong, but we're trying. The important thing is this, I said, keeping my voice steady. If you really regret it, give me the space I need. If you can't do that, I'll know this is just about winning my grandparents over and their money. My mother couldn't hold back any longer, her tears falling in the familiar way they did whenever things didn't go as she hoped. We were in a public place and people began to look at us. Mom, please stop, I said firmly. If you keep causing a scene like this, I'll leave. She went on for a few more minutes, saying things like, the tears are real, don't I have a heart? But I didn't budge. When I stood up, she finally stopped. That weekend, the drama on social media reignited. What should have been the end of the matter, Sophia decided to escalate everything online. I had blocked their phone numbers, but I forgot about Facebook and Instagram. Yesterday afternoon, she posted a long message calling me an ungrateful child, expressing shame over having me as her sibling, and threatening to sever all ties with anyone who was in contact with me. Reading her post felt surreal. My parents had done so little for me while giving Sophia everything, yet she painted them as perfect, infallible heroes. I tried commenting with my side of the story, but she deleted it. So I posted the full truth. On the third day of the social media war, something unexpected happened. Sophia posted again, defending our parents, claiming they had treated both of us fairly and that I was just playing the victim to win the grandparents' favor. She mentioned needing to take out student loans just like I had, then blamed former bandmates for ruining her dreams. And then, one of Sophia's old bandmates decided to speak out. The truth was finally exposed. In a lengthy comment on Sophia's post, they explained that she had only been a temporary replacement for the band's lead singer, who had moved to Australia. They had warned her several times about quitting, clearly stating that she was only a placeholder until they found someone better. We made it clear that this was just temporary, she wasn't that good, and we tried to be gentle with her, but she wouldn't listen. Quitting was her choice, but we specifically advised against it. The bombshell came. The bandmate continued, and as for the student loan, where's that? She's been bragging about how her parents paid for everything, while the rest of us had to work part-time between shows to pay off our debts. Within minutes, Sophia deleted all her posts, attempting to erase the evidence, but it was too late. The truth was out. Everything I suspected about my parents' favoritism was confirmed, and worse, they had not only supported her more but lied about it. My grandparents were furious when they saw the screenshots I sent. They had completely cut ties with my parents and Sophia, just as I had. My pain and anger were overwhelming, but honestly, this was exactly what I had expected from my family. The funny thing is, I always thought having a perfect family was important. But now, I realize that having the right people by your side is more important than having a lot of people around you. My grandparents showed me what real, unconditional, and non-exploitative support looks like. I'm continuing my engineering career and focusing on building my own life. My grandparents are the only family I need, and I've found peace in that. Sometimes, the family you choose, or the people who choose you, is far more important than the family you're born into. This story reminds us of the importance of protecting ourselves and standing firm in the face of challenges, even if it hurts. If you were in the protagonist's shoes, what would you do to protect your rights and happiness? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice could inspire others and spark positive change. If you found this story meaningful, don't hesitate to share it with your friends and loved ones to help spread the message about courage and the importance of standing up for what's right. Thank you for supporting the channel. Please like, share, and subscribe to receive the latest updates. The stories are collected from various sources and do not represent any individual or organization. They are shared with the intention of spreading human values in life and have been rewritten with the support of AI. If there are any mistakes, kindly overlook them with understanding. Wishing you all the best in life.